Here's a solution to problem 114 from section 11.3. So in this problem is about the relationship between the stopping distance of a car and how fast the car is going. So when the speed in miles per hour is x and the stopping distance in feet is y, the relationship between them is right here, y squared equals 1 over 25 x squared. And at least when I pulled up the problem, it said the stopping distance is 64 feet, and we're supposed to find the speed that goes along with this stopping distance. So this value, this 64 feet, because it's a stopping distance and because it's in feet, you can tell it's a value for y, not for x. So when we go to use the relationship between x and y, that is the equation, we'll put our value 64 in for y and not for x. When we do that, we get 64 equals 1 over 25 x squared. Now this is a quadratic equation, so we just need to solve for x. Then we'll know the speed of the car. As usual, you can solve any quadratic equation using completing the square or the quadratic equation. But this one, actually, since there is no x term, it's actually easiest to solve just using square roots. So rather than using the quadratic formula or anything, we'll just isolate this x squared part. So first thing we'll do is multiply both sides of this equation by 25. And actually, thinking ahead a little bit, 64 and 25 are both perfect squares, so rather than actually multiplying out what I get, I'm just going to leave it as 64 times 25 equals x squared. And now I'm going to take square roots on both sides. Okay, so the square root of 64 times 25, that's the square root of 64 times the square root of 25. And on the right-hand side, we get x. We should have a plus or a minus here. I'll come back to that in a minute. Now, the square root of 64 is 8. The square root of 25 is 5. So we get plus or minus 8 times 5 is 40. Now, it doesn't really make sense to have a negative speed. Speed has to be either 0 or positive, and so really we should choose the positive value for x here. So we'll choose x is 40, and so the car must have been going 40 miles per hour.